Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I am so delighted that you're here with me today. Today I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome, building your self-esteem, and why it matters, and why it is so important to let go of what everyone else thinks about you and to rely on your own self-confidence, your intuition, and your trust in yourself. A lot of people suffer with imposter syndrome, and if you are one of them, then this episode is just for you. So stick around and find out more about that. I want to welcome you if you are new to this podcast, and if you're returning, welcome back. I want to say a special thank you to those of you who listen every day. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. What exactly is imposter syndrome anyway? Imposter syndrome is when you feel like you just have a run of good luck, dumb luck, that it wasn't because of all of your hard work that you are where you are now. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that you just had some really good luck. Another thing that can cause imposter syndrome is if you feel like you shouldn't be doing what you're doing because maybe you don't know enough, maybe you don't have enough. Again, it's all about feeling like you don't belong where you are, and people are eventually going to figure that out. You're going to be found out, and no one's going to trust you. And how can you trust yourself if no one else trusts you? And it just leads to a lot of negative thinking about yourself. Many people suffer from imposter syndrome. It's actually very common. Part of the problem too, I think, for me personally, I've been dealing with this a little bit lately, that normally I'm super self-confident. I know exactly what I want to do, but I've had a couple of things happen recently that have started bringing up those feelings of, well, who are you to have a podcast? Who are you for people to listen to you? And I know that's just the fear talking. It usually rears its ugly head for me when I'm overly emotional, when a lot of different things are happening at once. And lately, I've got a lot of things going on in my life, as many of you know. So it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing on my end lately. So that's when I tend to see this crop up more, or any kind of limiting beliefs or fears. The thing is, when I work with coaching clients, one of the very first things we do is we try to uncover, where does that belief come from? Why do you feel like an imposter? Where did you first feel this way? Because it doesn't just creep up on you and suddenly you're like, there's something that happened. There is something, if we go way back, that we can uncover that happened that makes you feel like maybe you don't have enough, you are not enough. And it's really usually tied to our self-confidence too. Do we believe in ourselves? Do we believe we're worthy of success? Do we believe all of these things can happen for us? And oftentimes there's this underlying deep belief that you don't deserve it, or that it is just dumb luck because why would something good happen to you? So we have to go back and uncover why it is that you've told yourself this story. Somehow you have some sort of unconscious programming going on that's telling you that you don't have enough, or you can't trust yourself. Why would people believe in you? Any number of things. We tell ourselves so many crazy stories all the time. We really, truly do. It's insane to think about how much I used to beat myself up all of the time over really dumb things. Like some small, insignificant thing would happen, and I would let it bother me and eat away at me and get to me, and it would affect the way that I perceived myself. Every time I would do that to myself, it would eat away at just a little bit more of my self-confidence and self-esteem. And then if you have anyone criticize you at all for any reason, then you automatically want to go to that place where you just start beating yourself up. Like, yeah, I must be scum. I must not deserve this. All kinds of things. And of course, it happens to all of us sometimes. A lot of what happens is people might make a comment to you, and maybe ordinarily it wouldn't bother you, But on that particular day, maybe you were feeling a little emotional, and so you took it the wrong way, and then you run with it, and then you start taking over, beating yourself up. We all do that from time to time. That's normal. What we do in coaching is to go and to look at, why do you tell yourself this story? There is a reason. It started somewhere, because it's not something that we're born with. We are not just born hating ourselves or feeling like we're not good enough and we're never going to have enough. That's not a born-in thing. That is something that we learn. And we learn it through many different ways. Sometimes it is subconsciously. Sometimes your parents might say things to you like, you can get better grades, and you're taking it as you're not good enough. And that's not even how your parents meant it. But sometimes we take things that are said to us the wrong way. And when we hear those things over and over again, we think to ourselves, wow, this must be true about me. My parents keep saying this, like I can do better. They must think I'm not good enough. I'm not living to my potential. So then we have this little dark cloud going over us our whole lives of, I could be better. I didn't do this well enough. I need to try to do it again. Or maybe you had parents who really did say hurtful things to you. And that happens because we are sometimes raised in homes that are toxic environments where the people who should be our biggest supporters are actually the people who are the cruelest to us. So some of you out there may have experienced that growing up. And so it's very obvious why you would be so critical, because you've always had that critical voice around you. And even sometimes we have home environments where maybe our parents weren't super toxic, but they just did things sometimes, again, where we got that subliminal message somewhere that we just weren't good enough. We could do better. And in the coaching, what we do is we go back and we look at where that came from. It's really important to know where it came from, because part of the process sometimes is in forgiving people we need to forgive who maybe made us feel that way. Sometimes it's ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves and be gentle and kind with ourselves and forgive ourselves for not knowing better. But oftentimes it's other people we have to forgive as well. When going back, we look at, where do those beliefs come from? Where did that first start? Where did I first start feeling like I wasn't good enough, or that I couldn't achieve what I wanted to achieve? When did that start for me? We go back and we look at that. And the reason we identify that is, again, to figure out, do I need to do some forgiveness work? And then we need to look at eliminating those limiting beliefs about ourselves. And the only way that you can do that is by rewriting that script that you keep playing over and over again in your head. And we can use many different kinds of tools to do that. A lot of times we will use tools like EFT tapping, but there's a whole arsenal of tools that we can use to really start to try to take those limiting beliefs and to get rid of the ones that aren't serving you, because those limiting beliefs, those little things that you keep saying about yourself, they show up as negative thoughts about ourselves, but it's really a limiting belief that has been formed. So what we have to do is start getting rid of that limiting belief. So the first step is to identify it. Then we get rid of it. And then we have to start reframing. We have to create a new script for ourselves, something that feels better and something that will serve us better. When we can start doing that and start working on loving ourselves more and trusting ourselves more, then we start to care less what other people say to us or what they think about us. And don't get me wrong, it's a process. There are still days when I'm doing so well, and all of a sudden somebody might say something to me and it just triggers something deep within. And so then I know I have to go and work a little bit more on that to get rid of that limiting belief completely. For the most part, like I said, I'm great. But when it really sneaks up on me is if I'm tired, or if I'm overly emotional for other reasons. So maybe I'm not grounded, maybe I'm not balanced, maybe I haven't been meditating, I haven't been doing my affirmations, I've been letting life get the best of me and get too busy. And we're all guilty of that sometimes too, because life doesn't stop without you. So oftentimes we're running at this pace, we're going so fast trying to get through life that we go into survival mode. And when we go into that survival mode, that is when things will often creep up for us, that we get triggered because we're not doing the things that we know we should be doing in order to stay balanced and to stay in the present. Because what often happens when someone triggers us is we either go like to the past, like, oh, remember that one time I did that stupid thing and now here I'm doing it again. Or we want to go to the future like, oh, this is going to fail because look what I'm doing. I'm already making a mistake. Instead of being fully present in the moment and not taking personally what people say. Because again, other people, they have their own stuff going on too. And let's face it, people can be very cruel, and it just seems like lately people say whatever they want to say or feel, and without even taking anyone else into consideration. And so you may catch someone on a bad day too, and so they may say something that triggers you because they may be cruel because they're not thinking about you, they're only thinking about themselves. That happens and it can trigger you too. So how do you deal with imposter syndrome and not giving in to all of those negative thoughts that just want to creep in? Let's face it, we are so much harder on ourselves than anybody else could ever be. And the way that we talk to ourselves, if we talk to a friend that way, the friend would never stay friends with us. Yet we think it's okay to talk to ourselves that way. So how do you move through that? How do you quiet the fears? The number one thing I would say is if you're feeling a lot of this overwhelm lately, I would say the first thing you need to do is slow down. Because when this happens to me, normally it's because, again, life got crazy, life got away from me, and I stopped doing the things that I know I needed to do to stay balanced and to stay focused. I recently had an experience where I had someone who was going to be a podcast guest, and I had a crazy busy day at work, and I was trying to coordinate all these different things. And normally before I have a guest on, I go and I look over all of their information, and then we meet for a little bit before we actually record the podcast. So I did not have a chance to look at this information this day. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is I get bombarded with people like, can I be a guest? And it's usually through agencies. So they're sending me all of this stuff. It's really difficult to keep track of. And not only that, but it's usually for months out because I'm booked months out. So I will have to go back and try to find their information and look it all up. And today I was trying to find the information and could not find it. I don't believe this was by accident for any reason. I'll explain why in a minute. But I could not find this information of this one guest. And so the guest came on, we met, and I said, I am so sorry. I can't find the email that your podcast company sent me with all of your information. I've been trying to look for it, and I don't have it. And so we were kind of talking about, what this person can talk about. And she said, okay, hold on for a minute. And she said, I need to go for a second. And I'm assuming she probably just went to go and talk to her assistant or whatever, whoever sent me the information. And then she came back on and was like, I don't have to do this podcast, and I am a badass, and it would be beneficial for your listeners, but I want to add value to your audience, but I just don't feel like this energy is even, working out. And it just caught me off guard because I was like, okay, well, normally I don't normally come on to interview somebody and not know anything about them. That's generally not what happens. And it was not like me at all. But the way that she was talking to me and that I was treated was like, you're the most unprofessional person I've ever worked with, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it really, like, I just kind of lost it. I felt so stupid, but I kind of started to cry, and I said, well, first of all, I'm really sorry because I don't want anyone to ever think that, like, I don't want them on my show or that I don't have time for you or anything like that. I said, that's not the case at all. It was just a crazy day, and then I couldn't find your information, and I was trying to find it. And then the tone kind of, like, it changed, like, instantly, right? And this person was like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, we need to get the energy right. Can we just reschedule? And it's like, okay, and it's like, this is part of the problem is, like, I don't have time to reschedule things and to do all of these things. Like, this is the problem, is I need to get a better system, and that's on me. But, this had been rescheduled from before too. And it's like, okay, there's something going on here. But it was like a lesson for me, because immediately my immediate gut reaction was, I don't want to have her on. I don't want to do this podcast anymore. I just want to quit. I'm not good at what I do. And all of these things circled around me, because anytime you get triggered, that's what happens, right? We immediately go to all of those negative things. And that was what was happening to me. And I had to pull myself together. I was like, I don't want to sit here and be crying on this podcast here with you when I'm trying to talk and we're trying to reschedule things. And the more we were talking, like, the more, like, apologetic. It was like, what can I do for you? And it's like, at that point, I'm just like, you can let me go, because I really just need to get off this call right now and pull myself back together again, because this was shocking to me. And, but also I felt terrible because I didn't want anybody to think that I don't care about them or want them on my show. Like, that is never my intention. And she said, well, I can tell in how you're speaking now that you're a very sweet soul and kind. It's like, okay, like, not too little too late in that I will never deal with you again, but, like, too little too late in that you sincerely made me feel like a horrible person, and I would never want to do that to anyone else. And so anyway, it ended up all fine, but it caused in me, like, a moment where I just literally had to stop and start crying. Like, it triggered that imposter feeling of, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, who was really going to listen to you anyway? Are you really even adding any value to anyone's life? And then I had to gain control and realize that, you know what, this is just old stuff coming to the surface. And again, it had been a rushed, kind of crazy day, so I was not balanced. I was tired and trying to do all of the things I needed to get done. And so that for me that's when these things happen, is when I'm not living in the present moment fully, when I'm trying to be everything to everyone and I'm not taking care of myself. So one of the things you need to make sure that you're doing is to be balanced, to do all of the things that you do to take care of yourself, whether that's doing guided meditations, doing affirmations, going for a walk, eating right, sleeping right, getting enough water. All of those things is so super important. But it's important also to understand why you're feeling this way and where it comes from. To do the deep diving work to understand, where did I feel like this the first time and who made me feel this way? Because we need to then go and try to eliminate that feeling. And it's hard to do that if you're not really sure why you feel that way. We've got to really dive and look for that. Like, well, when I was little, this happened. It's possibly why that I feel this way. So that then we can get rid of it. And it's a process. It's something you have to keep working on. So we do different things. We can do hypnosis. We can do EFT tapping. We can do guided meditations. A lot of different tools that we have to help get rid of this feeling of being not good enough. Because that's really what it boils down to, is feeling like you're not enough and you don't have enough. And when we feel that way sometimes, we don't trust ourselves. And when we stop trusting ourselves, we start making decisions based on what everybody else wants instead of trusting that we know what's best for ourselves. It really does affect so many different things. But you can tackle imposter syndrome. It is possible. One of the things that's super helpful is working with a coach, because we have all of the tools that you need in order to help you get there and to get there faster. And it's a process. So you have somebody there with you, helping you do the work, taking you step by step. It's important to already look at what you've achieved in life. It's easy to lose confidence in yourself. But when you look back and you see all of the things that you've achieved and that you've accomplished, even if you think to yourself, well, I should be farther than I am right now, look back and see how far you've already come. You may not be where you want to be, but look how far you've come. And that hasn't been easy. Think about all of the strengths that you have. And if you can't think of anything, ask a friend, what do you like about me? What qualities do you think I have that are great? People will tell you and they'll be honest with you, and you'll probably be surprised at what they say because you won't realize all of the amazing things that people see in you. And we need to start seeing those things in ourselves. It's important to step outside your comfort zone because that's where we gain our confidence. Everything is an opportunity to learn. And when you step outside your comfort zone and you go and you do new things, if it doesn't work out the way you thought it would, that's just a way for you to adjust and try again. And if it turns out wonderfully and you love it and you have fun and everything worked out great, then awesome. And that boosts your confidence even more. Don't let the fear get inside your head. Don't let other people affect you. Again, this situation that I had today, I think this person, she was saying like, I'm pregnant and I'm hungry. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. That would make sense then to why maybe you're feeling a little agitated. And I understand that. Sometimes people say things to you that have nothing to do with you. We have to learn how to not allow others to affect how we feel about ourselves. Because a lot of times it isn't about you. It isn't even always about you. Focus on setting goals for yourself, playing to your strengths. So it's important to know what your strengths are because you've got to play to those strengths. And stepping outside that comfort zone. Trying new things. When you try new things and you succeed, it really boosts your confidence and your self-esteem. And when those fears creep in, go to one of the trusty tools that you have in your toolkit, like a meditation or a tapping or something like that. And if you're really ready to move forward up to like a new level forward of feeling confident in yourself, work with a coach. I would love to work with you. You can even book a free discovery call with me from my website, melissaoatman.com, to see if we feel like a good fit. Absolutely book a call with me. Or you can go to my website and see the services that I offer. I offer one-on-one coaching. I offer online courses that you can do on your own. There's something literally for everyone. So I hope that you will take the steps necessary to do the work that is necessary to feel better, because you guys are awesome and you deserve to feel awesome and not walk around feeling like you don't deserve success, because you do. You deserve all of the best. It's time that you started believing in that yourself. All right, guys, I'm going to pull a card for you today from my Daily Guidance with Your Angels deck. But before I pull the card, I want to remind you that if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave a positive review from wherever you're listening. And if you would like to hear this podcast 5 days a week instead of just 3 days a week, you can join me over on Patreon. The link for my Patreon page is in the show notes of this podcast. So the card that I pulled is Let Your Past Go. Isn't that interesting? It's time to let your past go. The burden of carting your past around has made you weary. Dear one, it's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons, the love, and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. I love that. It is time to let go of those heavy burdens. They're not helping you. They're simply weighing you down, keeping you from living your absolute best life. So I hope that you will work with someone. I would love for it to be me. And again, if you want to, go to my website, melissaoatman.com. You can book a free discovery call with me to see if my energy matches your energy. But I hope that you will do the work because you deserve amazing and beautiful things. All right, guys, don't forget, you can follow me on social media. I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook where I do a free card reading. If you show up for the live, I'll pull a card especially for you. And again, I would love for you to work with me. Just go to my website, melissaoatman.com. I do readings, Reiki, past life regression, and one-on-one coaching sessions. All right, guys, I hope you are having a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.